On a warm summer evening in August 2023, 37-year-old Rachel Moran laced up her sneakers and headed out for a jog along the Mapa Heritage Trail in Bel Air, Maryland. It was a popular walking and running path known for its scenic beauty and family-friendly atmosphere. Rachel was a mother of 5, a fitness enthusiast, and a beloved member of her community. The trail was her escape, her quiet place to breathe, think, and recharge. But that peaceful routine took a tragic turn when she never came home. Her boyfriend reported her missing later that night after she failed to respond to texts and didn't return home. The community immediately rallied and a search party was formed. The next day, August 6th, her lifeless body was discovered off the trail, hidden in the woods. What started as a missing person case had turned into a brutal homicide, and the shockwaves rippled across the small town. Rachel's death was not just unexpected, it was horrifying. Authorities quickly confirmed that she had been murdered, but they withheld key details due to the disturbing nature of the crime. The investigation moved quickly. Detectives scoured the area for evidence and began interviewing anyone who had been on the trail that evening. Dozens of tips came in, but no solid leads emerged. It was as if the killer had vanished into thin air. For weeks there was silence. Then, in a shocking development in March 2024, authorities announced a breakthrough. DNA recovered from Rachel's body matched a sample taken from an unsolved home invasion and sexual assault in Los Angeles that occurred just months earlier, in March 2023. That case involved a man who had broken into a family's home in broad daylight, assaulted a young girl, and then fled. Security footage from that scene captured a grainy image of the suspect, a muscular, shirtless man with dark hair, wearing pants and sneakers. It was the only visual clue they had. Police now had confirmation that the same man responsible for the California assault had murdered Rachel Morin in Maryland. But there was one terrifying implication. He was a cross-country predator, a man capable of moving across the United States, attacking women and children, and leaving little to no trace. The killer had managed to strike again, this time fatally, without being caught. Despite the DNA match, his identity remains unknown. A nationwide manhunt was launched and the FBI joined the investigation. The composite sketch from the California case was widely distributed, along with the chilling video of the suspect calmly walking through a hallway after the assault. Law enforcement hoped someone, anyone, might recognize him. But months passed and tips continued to dry up. The fact that Rachel's killer remains free has left her family and the entire Bel Air community in a state of lingering fear. Rachel's mother, Patricia, has made multiple public appearances, urging the public not to forget her daughter's case. Her children, now forced to grow up without their mother, remain the most painful reminder of what was stolen that night. Friends describe Rachel as vibrant, funny, and full of life. She was deeply loved and worked hard to provide for her family. The randomness and cruelty of her death sent a chilling message. Even the most peaceful places can become hunting grounds when evil is nearby. The case has captivated national media, not just for the brutality of the crime, but for the killer's elusiveness. In a world where surveillance cameras are everywhere and digital footprints are hard to erase, it's rare for someone this dangerous to slip through the cracks. Investigators believe the suspect is likely transient, possibly living off the grid, or using stolen identities to avoid detection. He may have a military or survivalist background, someone skilled at disappearing. The timeline of the suspect's crime suggests a calculated escalation. First, a home invasion and sexual assault. Then, less than 5 months later, a vicious murder on a secluded trail. Authorities fear he may strike again. The belief that they are dealing with a serial offender has led to increased coordination between law enforcement agencies across multiple states. The FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit is also involved, helping to create a psychological profile of the suspect. Despite the dark circumstances, Rachel's family has turned their grief into activism. They launched the Justice for Rachel campaign, a movement designed to raise awareness, support other victims of violent crime, and pressure law enforcement to dedicate more resources to unsolved murders involving women. Their slogan is simple, yet powerful: find him. Her mother has spoken publicly about how she refuses to let Rachel's story fade into another cold case file. This case has also revived conversations around the dangers women face while doing everyday activities like jogging, hiking, or even walking home. Rachel was not doing anything risky or reckless. She was on a public trail in broad daylight, and yet that didn't save her. For many women, her story feels personal, a reminder of how vulnerable they can be, even in places they've always felt safe. Over time, public interest in the case has remained high. Social media users, especially true crime communities, continue to share tips, analyze the limited video footage, and speculate about the suspect's identity. Online sleuths have created timelines, mapped potential travel routes, and cross-referenced other unsolved cases in hopes of finding a connection. But as of now, the man who killed Rachel Morin is still out there. In April 2024, authorities doubled the reward for information leading to his capture, bringing it to $30,000. Billboards with the suspect's image were placed across several states. Yet despite these efforts, he remains at large. The longer he's free, the more urgent the danger becomes. A man who has proven he can kill without hesitation, evade capture, and potentially commit similar crimes again is a ticking time bomb. As with many unsolved cases, time becomes the enemy. Leads grow cold, public attention shifts, but Rachel's loved ones refuse to let her name be forgotten. They continue to speak out, attend memorials, and advocate for legislative changes to improve law enforcement databases and DNA processing systems. What makes this story so chilling is its randomness. Rachel was not targeted because she knew her killer. She was not part of some elaborate plot or personal vendetta. She was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and a predator was waiting. That terrifying truth haunts not just her family, but anyone who has ever stepped outside for a walk and assumed they were safe. It's easy to believe that serial killers are relics of the past, figures from 1980s headlines or Hollywood thrillers. But Rachel Morin's case is proof that real-life monsters still exist. They don't always wear masks or lurk in alleyways. Sometimes they walk down quiet trails, unnoticed. Sometimes they disappear just as quickly as they strike. This is not just a story of a murder, it's a story of a killer still on the run. A man with a pattern. A man with the capability to strike again. And a family left waiting for the day justice will finally come. Until that day, the trail where Rachel's life was taken remains a painful landmark. A place of loss, but also of resilience. Flowers and candles still appear near the path's entrance. Notes of remembrance are tacked to trees. Each step taken there is a vow that Rachel Morin will not be forgotten and her killer will be found.